all of my maximum dumbassery from meta platforms, from TikTok, everything from MailChimp to here. And I wanted to take a second to go live today, January 20th, because I am extremely aware of a gift that I have given myself over the last 8 years that I just didn't have 8 years ago, of the first Trump administration inauguration. And I acutely remember that time, and 8 years ago today was a horrible day for me. I had all sorts of assumptions about what would happen. I had been doom scrolling and reading the news obsessively, and had bought into all of the horror that was certain to happen 8 years ago today. And some of that stuff came true, and some of it didn't. And some of it happened in a different way, in a way we didn't see. And some of it happened with a smaller impact than we thought, and some of it had happened with a bigger impact that we thought. But what I'm aware of today, looking forward over the arc of the next 4 years of this administration, is I haven't been doom scrolling. It's been 2 years since I stopped reading the news daily. And I want you to know I hear about the news. I hear about it from a human a little bit slower than the rest of you all. Sometimes that's embarrassing, and I'm okay with that. I've accepted that because what's true for me now, this is the superpower that I have developed over the last 8 years, is that I don't feel at the whim of the news cycle. I don't feel at the whim of what's going on in Washington, D.C. I don't feel at the whim of executive orders that sound like laws that aren't laws yet. I don't feel at the whim of what Congress and the Senate are doing. And I also don't feel at the whim of all of the kind of collective energy that is rising around this, for better or for worse. No matter how you fall on this decision, there's a collective energy that rises around the transition of an administration in the United States. So, what is this gift, this superpower? And I want to be clear, I proactively cultivated this over the last 8 years. 8 years ago, I was in a phase of trying to be a meditator. I was about 2 years into trying to be a meditator, or maybe a better way to say that, I was definitely someone who was trying to meditate. That was my identity. And I would spend the next 4 years in that phase. I spent the entire first Trump administration in that phase. And around 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I started to get curious about what it would be like to actually be a meditator. Now, I'm splitting hairs with the English language here, but the difference between being someone who is trying to be a meditator and being a meditator is profound. And I like to use metaphor, so let's use athletics, because I had at around the same time, I had another shift. 4 years ago, I joined a gym for the first time in my life because I was very out of shape. I was having chronic pain. I was having some limited range of motion. And I was sick of it. My kids were really little, and I was having a hard time kind of getting up and down off the floor with them. And so I just decided to sign up for a gym for the first time ever. And for the entire first year of that, I was somebody who was trying to enjoy working out. And what that looked like is I had a very limited membership plan where I could only go 8 times a month. So that was approximately twice a week. And so it was really easy to be like, "Oh, well, this is the week I only go once," and I would do that 3 weeks out of the month. It was really easy to not go at all. And after about a year of this, I spent a number of weeks not going at all, and one of the coaches, Coach Gina, thank you, a beautiful human, called me, took time out of her day to call me and just have a conversation about what was going on, and if she could help at all, if any of the coaches could help, and what might help me enjoy coming back to the gym. Now, it was that call that motivated me to be somebody who actually enjoys going to the gym. And I actually truly enjoy it now. I have fun there. Some days I run real fast and lift real heavy weights, and sometimes I don't. But I love the feeling of being in a body that's fit. I actively cultivated every single time I went to the gym. I actively cultivated enjoying being an athlete again after years of being somebody who was trying to be an athlete. A lot of the times it's easier to see this in an outward thing like that. My doctor's visits changed. I stopped getting stern looks about cholesterol and weight. I started feeling better. My range of motion came back. My chronic pain is gone. Lots of things, my kind of like my disposition got sunnier because I accepted and enjoyed being an athlete. So when you proactively cultivate a wellness anything, it will change you. And I'm acutely aware from having done this with exercise and diet and meditation and breath work and sleep and how I show up in the world and attitude. There's a difference between trying to make a change, being somebody who's trying to make a change, and actually embracing it and fully doing it. Now, here's the superpower, the nugget. I wish I had a timestamp to tell all of my email subscribers. Here's the nugget. I had to fully commit to being the person who is no longer at the whim of the news cycle, who is no longer at the whim of all the saber rattling that comes out of Washington, D.C., who is no longer at the whim of the conversations that happened around me from loved ones and friends. I committed to being a person. Difference in that is that I feel well now. It's inauguration day. It's January 20th. I don't know what time inauguration is happening. I didn't look that up. But what I do know is the news cycle is about to hit the stratosphere with its intensity, with its fear tactics, with everything. And the superpower that I have is I can hear it now. I can read it now if I choose to and notice when I feel that fear coming forward and have all the tools now to be able to come back to a place of curiosity, of calm, of wonder, of creativity. And if you are feeling like this might be the nudge you needed to take on a wellness practice, it's January, maybe you tried one and maybe it's kind of petering out. It's January 20th. I don't know, maybe you tried one and you're crushing it. If this is the notice you needed to be able to lean into that wellness practice, to be able to do it, I want you to know I know the next 4 years, difficult things are going to happen. I know that some of them will directly impact my life and my community and my family. And I have all of the tools in place to not be at the whim of all of those cycles and to be able to stay well while I'm addressing the things that do impact the people I love around me. So, what would it take to really commit to your wellness practice, whatever it is, whatever feels accessible for you? What would it take to commit to being that future you who is different? What do you need to move out of the way? What do you need to notice that you're doing that you need to stop doing? I like to use the metaphor of future Lori cannot land on the tarmac of today Lori's habits. What are the habits you have that are preventing future you from landing? Is it doom scrolling? Is it social media? Is it engaging in conversations that really don't add any positive mental health benefit to your life or any productive work benefit for that matter? Is it going to the gym? Is it changing up your diet? What is it? What would help you clear off the tarmac of today's habits so that future you could land? We've been talking about the end of the Biden administration a little bit as the eye of the storm. And we could even say that the end of the Trump administration last time was the eye of the storm for people who didn't want Biden to be president. The end of any term, that moment between election and inauguration, things are the way they were and something new is coming. So today's the end of that day. If you've been holding on because it's the eye of the storm, get your head in the sand. What would it be like to look up and to be well? What might it be like to be able to be fully you, no matter what comes at you? That is what I do. I obsess about it in my own life. I'm always asking the question, how well can I be? And I guide people through it. I have a program starting on Wednesday this week, the Transformation Academy. If you've thought about taking a program with me and if financially it has been out of reach, this is your opportunity. The Transformation Academy is the same high quality stuff we go through in the 90-day. You won't get quite as far. We'll spread out the timeline a little bit for you to give you more time to practice in between calls. You'll still have a cohort of learners with you. The first call is on Wednesday. And if you join before the end of January, I'm also going to give you access to my brand new online course that's coming out, a $490 value, which is the first time I've offered anything online asynchronously that I offer in my live programs. It's called The Four Keys Your Heroes Already Have. And if you're watching this today and you're wondering how I can be so well on Inauguration Day, I already have the keys. And these keys, you can have them too. They're within reach of everyone. So the four keys your heroes already have is about teaching you the foundations of what it means to effectively, reliably, repeatedly, predictably make changes in your life, and how to notice what's ready to change, how to notice that thing on the tarmac that's preventing future you from landing and get it out of there. So, Transformation Academy starts on Wednesday. Come and join me. You can come to the first class no matter when you join. It's a monthly membership. No matter when you join, you get your first session totally free of charge. And if you join before the end of January, you effectively get 1 month's membership free by getting access to the Four Keys online course. Transformation Academy is $500 a month. I'd recommend 3 months if you can swing it. That is a tiny fraction of the cost of what the 90-day intensive is. And if that even seems like too much, start with the Four Keys. That will be available at the end of January. It's a $490 program. You can go through it on your own in approximately 15 to 30 minutes a day for approximately a month. Both of these things are designed to help you proactively cultivate the superpower that I have ingrained in my life as autopilot today that I did not have 8 years ago. It won't take you 8 years to onboard this. And the difference today between my life on Inauguration Day for the second Trump administration and Inauguration Day for the first one is night and day. And it's not that I'm not aware of what's coming. I'm fully aware of what could happen to my immediate community and communities near me and communities I know nothing about. The difference is I am not willing to live at the whim of all of the clickbait news cycle that is coming at us, all the saber rattling and all the fear mongering that's coming at us. If you are ready to proactively cultivate in your life these keys, you can start with the Transformation Academy. It kicks off on Wednesday, January 22nd. You can join whenever you want. It's a rolling membership. You can join whenever you want. Your first one is free. It's $500 a month. That is a tiny fraction of the cost of my other programs. If that is out of reach, Four Keys Your Heroes Already Have starts, should be available at the end of January for you to download and go through on your own. And if you enroll in Transformation Academy before the end of the month, you're going to get the four keys free. So, what would it take to cultivate these superpowers? What would it take to learn these keys your heroes already have? You don't have to be at the whim of everything that's coming. And I know the path. Come join me.